Hi guys, I'm Roranoa TV. This video is about What If Luffy Meets Goku Part 7. Hope you like my video. Please subscribe, like and share Roranoa TV for more fanfiction story. The battle begins. Straw Hat Pirates vs. Hody and his army. Last time on the story of What If Luffy Meet Goku Part 6. Hody just laughed and took the king's head and slammed it onto the ground. This is the end for you, king. Your precious Straw Hat crew isn't here to save the day. Hody said as he was going to slam his fist into the king's head. Goku, Luffy, please save my father. Shirahoshi screamed. Hody smiled as he was mere inches away from executing the king when his face flashed a look of pain. He looked to see both Goku and Luffy had punched him in the gut at full force, causing him to spit blood and fly backwards a far distance before he hit the floor hard. It's them. It's really Goku and Luffy. They're here. The army shouted at the two fighters who stared at their enemy's army. Goku and Luffy were hiding in Megalo's mouth the entire time, including the rest of the crew. Robin swiped the keys to the chains to the captured royal families. She unlocked the chains and the royal family, including Jinbei and Megalo, were set free. As Robin did this, a ship came flying towards them. It was the Straw Hats pirate ship and Frankie was in it. Gown cannon fire. Immediately the ship sent a blast towards the battlefield and a large explosion occurred, causing the place to rumble a little. Then immediately a large whale, the whale that carries the king around, came down and grabbed the brothers and the king and swam them up to safety. Shirahoshi decided to stay back with her friends in the battlefield. All the Straw Hats pirate members got together except Frankie at the time. The rebels had a look of fear as to what they saw. They saw destruction from one pirate crew as they stood together boldly. One of the rebels ran up and started to yell at them. Oi, tell us now, are friend or foe to the Fishman Island? The rebel yelled at the Straw Hat pirates. Luffy just held onto his hat before he spoke. Are we friends? Or are we foes? That kind of thing is for you to decide for yourselves. Luffy said as the entire crew looked forwards onto the battlefield. Time to settle the score, Goku said as he smirked and slammed his fist into his palm, looking at the enemies ahead. He was ready for a fight and couldn't wait to get started. The crowds that were watching nearby had witnessed the entire thing. They cheered for the Straw Hat pirates for saving their king and the royal family from certain doom. But as they were cheering, Hody started to get up and had a look of anger at the sight of the two who punched him before. Those damn humans, Hody said angrily as the Straw Hat crew weren't paying attention to him but to each other. Nami walked up to Shirahoshi and gave her the letter to unite humans and fishmen. Here you are, princess, Nami said. Thank you very much, Nami. And thank you, Luffy, Goku, for saving my family. I don't think I'll be able to. Shirahoshi started to cry as she tried to thank the crew, but she could barely muster a word afterwards. Goku grinned and gave her a thumbs up. Don't worry about it, just consider this as a friendly act from us humans, Goku said, causing the princess to start smiling a little while crying. Well played, Jinbei. I knew I shouldn't have let my guard down when I captured you and the princess so easily. Hody shouted to the crew and Jinbei, you people despise me the most, accepting humans as if they were comrades. Hody said angrily, clenching his fist. You're just as naive as that fool of a king. If I were king, I'll shower the human kings of the world in a rain of blood. And the legend of the dreaded kingdom under the sea will begin. Hody said, smiling devilishly. There's 100,000 of us and only a few of you. Soon I'll take over the world and become the pirate king. Hody said, laughing maniacally. Pirate king, you say? Luffy said as he saw the army charging towards them. Bad move, Goku thought as he felt a surge of energy spike from Luffy at an alarming rate. Luffy glared at the fishmen who were charging at them, and instantly half of the fishmen army stopped moving and were shaking violently before they crashed onto the floor unconscious. Luffy increased Conquer's haki in a span of 2 years. Incredible, Jinbei said in disbelief. Luffy looked at Hody with no emotion dashed across his face before he spoke. I don't care who you are, but there only need to be one pirate king. Luffy said, still staring at Hody, causing him to move back a little. Luffy jumped up into the air and increased the mass of his fist and slammed it downwards into the ground, causing thousands of fishmen to fly into the air and hit the ground hard. Bring 1,000,000 people, it doesn't matter. I'll defeat every single one of you. Luffy said as he slammed his fist onto the ground. His crew got into position for the fight. Nami, Usopp, and Chopper got into the ship to prepare for battle, while Sanji, Zoro, Robin, Brook and Jinbei were on the battlefield preparing for the fight. Goku started to generate much energy as he could for a single attack. As he was generating the power, the battlefield started to shake violently, causing larger rocks and boulders to collapse at the amount of force Goku was putting off. Ha! Goku yelled as flied up into the air and right back down to slam his fist onto the battlefield, causing a large earthquake to start up and cause a large sum of the army to fly backwards at the sheer force of Goku's strength. How can you save the princess when she's all wide open? Hody said as he aimed at the princess, who had a look of fear knowing what was going to happen next. She covered her eyes as Hody charged his attack, water shot. Hody screamed as a burst of pressurized water was flying towards the princess, but was easily taken down by Jinbei when he used his own water shot technique against Hody's. Hody wasn't done yet. He ordered the rest of the army to shoot cannon at the princess' head, but they didn't respond since they were being bombarded by Brook's and Zoro's attack. Brook took out his hidden sword and sliced at the fishmen while Zoro spun around with his three swords style, accelerating his speed tremendously. Kokuho o Tatsumaki, Zoro said as he stopped spinning and caused a tornado-like attack to spin towards the army, annihilating them as they encountered the attack. Again, the army didn't stop. They jumped into the sky and started to charge at the princess, going for aerial attacks, but Sanji was there to intervene. He jumped into the sky and guarded the princess from the attacks. If you want to get to the princess, then I gladly let you if you beat me, Sanji said as he stretched out his leg. Diable Hambi, Sanji shouted as he slammed feet so fast that it looked as if he had multiple attacking the fishmen. Boire Friar Spectrum, Sanji shouted. He kept slamming his feet at the army. After beating the enemies, I am your knight, ma'am, Sanji said with hearts in his eyes when looking at the princess. Robin took on the army, who came running towards the princess. She crossed her arms in an X form and immediately two large legs appeared from the ground, literally stopping the fishmen in the tracks. Stomp, Robin said, and the legs came down and slammed on the army, nearly crushing them to death. Soon Frankie came out of the boat. Channel 4. Black Rhino FRU Unit 4. Frankie yelled as he came out in a Psy bike and was taking on multiple enemies in a metal Rhino tank bike. Then Usopp, Chopper and Nami came out as well. Channel 5. Brachio Tank Unit 5 Launch. Frankie yelled as the three came out in metal tank that shot out energy beams at the army. Luffy had stars in his eyes and was jumping up and down when he saw the two machines coming out and causing havoc for the army. Awesome, Luffy yelled. Keep fighting, idiot, Zoro said angrily at his captain for stopping his attacks and was watching the machines. Soon after, Frankie brought the two machines together and kicked out Nami, Usopp and Chopper to do his next transformation. He combined the two machines together and made a massive robot, Iron Pirate. Frankie Shogun, Frankie said inside the robot. Luffy, Usopp and Chopper were looking at him with stars in their eyes as they saw the giant robot take a sword and start causing havoc on the army. Then he opened the hatch and started shooting cannons at the army, causing huge explosions to spread across the battlefield. Soon afterwards, Usopp, Chopper and Nami joined in the battle. Even with 100,000 men against them, they barely are showing any signs of fatigue. One of the crowd said in disbelief, and the crowd nodded in agreement. Hody was getting angry and started to scream at his army, "Be better soldiers." Hody said as his face flushed with pain when he felt a fist hit him directly in the face. It was Goku. How about you be a better leader? Goku retorted as he sent a weak punch that would have felt like someone hitting Goku in the face with a pillow, but to Hody it felt like a train just smashed into him at 70 miles an hour. Hody slammed onto the ground, taking Hody by surprise since he took multiple energy steroids to versus the Straw Hat Pirates. Hody got up slowly and started to send multiple attacks at Goku, but he was evading them as if they weren't there at all. As Hody went in for a final punch, his fist was caught by Goku and Goku had a look of anger at Hody. I won't let you get away with this, I'll never forgive you, Goku said in a low and dangerous voice that caused Hody to wince at the sheer harshness in Goku's voice. He sent a punch at Hody's face while holding onto Hody's arm so he wouldn't escape so quickly. This is for King Neptune, Goku said as he punched Hody in the jaw, causing blood to spray. This is for Shirahoshi's brothers, Goku said as he punched Hody in the cheek, causing it to swell badly. This is for Shirahoshi, Goku said as he punched Hody in the nose, causing it to break and blood started to ooze from his nose. And this, Goku said as a bright glow of gold started to form around Goku. Goku started turning into a Super Saiyan and his flaming glow started to increase tremendously as he was crushing Hody's hand. As for Shirahoshi's mother, Goku yelled as punched Hody right in the middle of his face as he let go of Hody's hand, causing Hody to be sent flying into a mountain at full force, causing the rocks to shatter in pieces on impact. FYI, Shirahoshi's mother had been assassinated by Hody, so if I forgot to mention this in the previous chapter, I'm really sorry for confusing you. Captain Hody. His crew yelled out in shock, seeing their captain being easily beaten by a human. Amazing. Goku, he is incredibly strong, Shirahoshi said in shock as she saw Goku transform and had beaten Hody in 4 punches to the face. Goku turned around to fly back to his friends who were staring at him in shock and with amazement at his new transformation. Even Zoro couldn't help but being surprised at Goku's strength. He's going to get up, I barely used any power on those attacks, Goku muttered, causing everyone to stare at the Saiyan in shock. Barely. Exclamation mark. It looked like you used your entire power on those punches. Usopp said, pointing at the golden-haired Saiyan who was just grinning at him. Trust me, if I had used all my strength on him, I would have destroyed this island along with him, and I sure as hell don't want to do that, Goku said, laughing a little before looking at Zoro and smirked. Still think I can't beat you all combined? Goku said, implying to Zoro's question when officially meeting Goku for the first time. Zoro smirked back, you'll never know until we try, was all Zoro said. As the crew was getting together, Goku was right. Hody broke through the rubble but was barely standing. He was staring at the straw hat, gritting his teeth, and was seething with anger. Before going on, the island was turning darker as a large ship, as large as the island, was floating near the bubble encasing that surrounded the island so that water wasn't coming into the island. Everyone looked up to see it was Vander who had brought the ship near the island. He explained how he was going to crush everyone in the island, furthermore crushing the princess and the royal family in the process. He had touched the ship with his hand and aimed it at Shirahoshi, but she started to swim away from the ship to drag it away from the island so that nobody could be killed because of her. Hody and Luffy, with the help of his crewmates and the bubble encasing around him, shot up into the air to try and stop the large boat from attack the island and the princess. Even the crowds wanted to help but were blown away from the area by Hody. Idiots. It's because of worthless scum like you that all fishmen are looked down upon. Hody screamed at the fallen crowds. Damn bastard, Luffy thought as he was climbing up to reach the ship. The princess had shot up into a corridor tube that had caused the boat to turn and follow her instead of crashing into island. Goku couldn't stand around and decided to go after Luffy but was stopped by Robin, who was standing in front of him. Stop, I know what you are trying to do, but you'll be crushed under the pressure of the water even in that transformation. Robin said, holding out her hands to stop Goku from going upwards, but he wasn't having it. Then I'll transform again. Goku yelled as he clenched his fists and the ground was shaking a little. Goku transformed again, and this time his golden flaming aura had lightning around his body, his build slimmed down slightly and his height stayed the same. He had transformed into a Super Saiyan 2. Robin and the rest of the crew was taken aback by the sight of Goku as he transformed once again, and they all knew that he must have gotten even stronger than his previous transformation. Goku, what did you? Chopper was about to say before Goku cut him off. No time. I'll explain later, right now I need to hurry. Goku shot upwards and flew straight out of the bubble encasing and was flying towards the ship. Boy, I'm glad he's on our side, Nami said nervously as they witnessed Goku flying into the pressurized water as if was not there. Goku was flying up into the sea when he saw Vander being stabbed by his so-called partner Hody in the chest. Immediately the ship started to fall downwards towards the island once again, thankfully at a slow pace. He also saw that Luffy, along with Shirahoshi's 3 brothers who had also arrived, had shot his hand towards Hody and punched him before he had reached Shirahoshi. Hody roared with pain as Luffy's attack connected with him. Even though Luffy's attack had been weakened by the water, it was because of Hody's previous injury with Goku's attack that it had caused an enormous amount of pain. Hody gritted his teeth angrily. Fool. You have no chance at winning. Neither does Shirahoshi nor your crew on Fisherman Island, Hody said. I would beg to differ. Goku yelled as he dashed towards Luffy, Shirahoshi and the 3 brothers, causing Hody to move back afraid. How are you able to breathe underwater? Hody said in shock, seeing Goku was perfectly fine underwater, even under the pressured water that should have instantly crushed him. Goku's secret was he was swallowing the air bubble pockets that were forming every time he dashed under the sea. It tasted horrible, but it was Goku's only way to breathe underwater. Goku, here, take this instead. Luffy said as he sent a bubble encasing gel towards Goku. Goku put the bubble encasing around his head and his breathing was back to normal. Thanks, Goku said, giving a thumbs up before looking at Hody coldly. You talk big, Luffy, trying to save everyone, but you're too late. Once this ship hits the island, I'll make sure to crush everyone in the world, including you and your friends. Hody said, pointing at the ship falling towards the island once again. Luffy, I'll leave Hody to you, I'll deal with the ship. Goku said as he started to dash towards the ship. Oh no, you don't. Hody yelled as he tried dashing towards Goku but was stopped by a punch by Luffy. Your opponent is me. Luffy yelled. The three brothers who were watching at the sidelines took a quick glance at the Saiyan flying towards the ship. Please don't destroy the ship. One of the brothers shouted towards Goku and Goku nodded as he heard them. That ship is very valuable to us, it was to be left under the sea until our promise was fulfilled. One of the brothers thought. Goku went to the underside of the boat and pressed his hands under the boat and was trying to keep it from hitting the bubble encasing around the island. But to do this he had to break his own bubble encasing to stop the boat. Goku was slowly stopping the boat, but it was still pushing the boat downwards because of the strong currents pushing downwards on him. Damn it, I'll lose my breath in a matter of minutes before I can stop this boat. Goku thought as he gritted his teeth and was pushing the boat upwards against the strong currents. No way. How can someone, especially a human, easily push that boat back up? Hody said, staring at the Saiyan pushing the boat upwards. Take this. Water shot. Hody screamed as he sent a water attack at Goku, who was still occupied with the boat. Goku, look out. Luffy yelled, getting Goku's attention and seeing the attack coming towards him. He stopped pushing the boat, causing the boat to again start descending towards the island. He cupped his hands together. Ka, me, ha, me, ha. Goku yelled as a weak burst of energy collided with Hody's water shot and destroyed it instantly, causing a shockwave underwater. That took a lot of Goku's precious air as he yelled the Kamehameha wave at the water attack. Goku knew the consequences of using the attack but did it anyways. He went back down to the boat again to stop the boat from moving any further. His eyes felt droopy, his muscles were shaking as not enough air was circulating through his body. At this point, I'll drown, Goku thought as he gritted his teeth and was desperately trying to stay awake to keep the boat at bay. Luffy went after Hody once again along with Shirahoshi's help. Him went full throttle attacking Hody, trying to beat the absolute daylights out of him. Goku was fading fast as he was slowly losing consciousness. Goku, can you hear me? One of the three brothers yelled, causing Goku to slowly look at the blurry vision of a fishman calling out to him. Just use the last bit of you strength to push it over here into this air bubble, one of the brothers said, pointing to a large air pocket nearby. Goku slowly nodded and mustered all the strength he could and pushed out his hand, causing a huge amount of force onto the boat, causing it to drift towards the air bubble. Goku quickly caught onto the boat, allowing him as well to glide into the air bubble and gasp for air as his body was feeling much better. Goku's breathing came back to normal and then resumed to keep the boat at bay from hitting the island. One of the brothers yelled out loud for everyone to hear. Straw Hat, please bring everything back to normal. The brother said with tears in his eyes. Our mother was killed not by Hody but by the island's grudge. If we don't stop, this island will be destroyed by its own hatred. The brother yelled out. FYI, what I'm implying here is the fact that some fishmen had a hatred towards humans while others don't, and this will cause the island to be destroyed by its grudge. Luffy was quiet for a moment before he spoke. Brohoshi. Luffy calls him this cause he is Shirahoshi's sibling. Let me take care of this, just sit back and relax. From the moment we descended into the plaza, we decided along with Jinbei, we won't let anyone lay a finger on Fishman Island. Luffy said, grinning at the brother who still had tears in his eyes. We're friends after all, Luffy said, smiling at the brother, causing Goku and the crew to smile hearing what their captain had said. This had motivated them even more to help save Fishman Island from Hody and his army. Hody had enough of Luffy and started to dash towards him at full speed. I'll end this with one shot, Luffy said as he was stretching his hand backwards. I'll tear your arm off and make sure to break every bone in you. Hody said as he was getting closer to Luffy. Gomu no, Luffy started as his arm started to get darker and was getting more dense. Luffy was using armament Haki for his single attack, Red Hawk. Luffy yelled as he slammed his fist on Hody's chest, causing Hody to fly away from the force of Luffy's power and into the air bubble ship that Goku was slowly keeping bay. Luffy asked Shirahoshi to bring him into the bubble and she nodded as she helped him into the bubble encasing as well. Hody was slowly and barely getting up when he saw Luffy with his arms stretched out and was getting bigger every second. Gear 3rd. Gomu no elephant gun. Luffy screamed as he repeatedly slammed down his armament fist right on top of Hody, nearly crushing him to death, and also was causing the boat to being crushed as well under the sheer force of Luffy's punches. Goku released his grip on the boat to watch his captain in amazement as to what he transformed. He never seen his captain so serious, so it took him by surprise. Luffy kept pounding away, causing the boat to being crushed little at a time by the force being put on it. Back with Luffy's crew on the island. They were taking out as many forces as they could, and when they finally did, they all rejoined together and were all looking upwards to see the boat being destroyed little by their captain. The only way to save this island now is if Luffy and Goku can destroy the boat before it reaches the island, Usopp said, staring upwards, then they have to do it fast. Nami said, worried that they would be crushed under the boat coming towards them. Luffy was relentless as he was still destroying the ship, but Shirahoshi stepped in front of Luffy and shouted at him, pleading to stop him if by any chance to save the boat. Luffy told Shirahoshi to move, but she wouldn't, and if by any miracle, Shirahoshi's shout had caused a large group of sea monsters to appear near the boat, stopping it in its track. Shirahoshi and Luffy couldn't believe it. The Sea Kings, why? Luffy said in shock, seeing the sea monsters stopping the boat. Sea Kings. I thought King Neptune was the king of the sea. Goku thought to himself when looking at the sea monsters stopping the boat. Luffy just smiled, knowing that the ship was stopped and the day was done. They had beaten Hody and his army and started to lose consciousness as his wounds with his previous fight with Hody were opening, causing blood to gush out. Luffy! Shirahoshi yelled out as she tried to catch him, but Goku intercepted her and caught Luffy. Goku smiled and looked at Shirahoshi. Don't worry, I got him, Goku said as the princess had a look of worry that her friend might be badly hurt. Everyone down on the island had witnessed what happened up in the sea. Everyone cheered, Fishman Island is saved. Everyone was cheering loudly as they knew that they had won the war against Hody. Goku glided the unconscious Luffy down into the island and brought them both to their friends, who were waiting patiently for their captain and friend to come back to them. Goku dropped off Luffy onto the floor and everyone was relieved to see that all of them were okay somewhat. I can barely move, after fighting that many soldiers, Chopper said weakly, but does anyone need medical assisting? Chopper said, trying to get up but couldn't. Robin just smiled. I don't think we need you to get hurt any more than you should, Chopper, resting Chopper on her lap. Robin-chan, I can barely move as well, let me lay on your lap as well, Sanji said with hearts in his eyes. Goku just smiled. Don't worry, I'll help. Goku said as he extended his hand outwards and a bright golden energy beam appeared out of his hand. Ha! Goku yelled as suddenly golden auras glowed around every single one of his crew members, shocking everyone as they felt a lot better than they did before. I'm on fire, Brook said as he was running around in circles thinking it was going to burn him. Eventually he realized it wasn't burning him at all. Everyone looked down on Luffy to see the effects were not working on him as they did for his friends. He's losing too much blood. Does anybody had blood F-type? Chopper yelled out. Everyone shook their heads no, because they didn't have the same blood type. Is Luffy going to be alright? Shirahoshi said, crying that her friend might possibly die. But Jinbei came forward and extended his arm. I'm type F, take as much blood as you need, Jinbei said. Jinbei allowed Chopper to extract his blood and transfuse it into Luffy, and now everyone awaited. Goku extended his arm out again and a flaming glow came from Luffy. This should help speed up the process, Goku said, giving part of his energy to Luffy. Eventually Luffy started waking up and was smiling while his eyes were closed. Jinbei, Luffy said, smiling. Oh, you finally woke up. Jinbei said, looking down on the pirate. Luffy. Everyone yelled, seeing their captain was going to be alright. Jinbei, be my Nakama, Luffy said, grinning. Nakama means friend. Everyone celebrated that Hody was captured and was going to be locked away forever, and his army will never be seen by any more forever. The crowds turned their heads to find out that the Straw Hats weren't there anymore. I wonder where they went. King Neptune thought. Soon after, Shirahoshi, Jinbei and the crew ran away, because they didn't want to be known as heroes and be praised as one. It was the thought that feared Luffy the most. He was a pirate, and even though he thought heroes were cool, he didn't want to be one. Hody and his army had been put into prison, and everyone was glad that the war was finally over. As everyone was getting comfortable on the ship, Goku, not Super Saiyan 2 anymore, noticed Luffy arguing with Jinbei and walked over to see what the commotion was. Jinbei, you're going to join my crew, Luffy said, demanding. I'm not going to yet, I have too much to do right now, but I'm honored that you ask anyways. Someday I might join and I hope you'll ask me then as well, Jinbei said, causing Luffy to cross his arms. Damn right. Luffy said, crossing his arms. Luffy turned around to his crew and told them they should head out to the New World, and Shirahoshi had a small tear in her eye. You're all leaving so soon. But at least let me thank you all for your help with a reward. Shirahoshi said, trying to convince the crew to stay a little longer. As they were thinking about it, King Neptune had caught up with the Straw Hat ship and explained to them that all charges against them for kidnapping had been dropped and that he wanted to give them that banquet he told them before the first time he met them. Food! Luffy yelled out happily, causing everyone to burst out laughing at their captain's antics. The crew traveled back to the palace and was having a grand time. Musicians were playing, singers sang as the crew ate, and mermaids started to dance, having a great time. Sanji nearly had a heart attack seeing the many beauties around him, and Chopper had to help him regain his composure. Goku was versing Zoro, King Neptune, Usopp, and Luffy combined in an arm wrestling match. How the hell are you still not moving? ? Quote. Zoro said as he and the rest of the guys were trying to push down Goku's hand but could barely move it from the starting point. Goku just laughed. Sorry, but it looks like I'm going to win again, Goku, as he turned into a Super Saiyan and was slowly moved their hands downwards and landed their hands onto the floor, securing his victory. Eventually Goku and the rest of the guys went back to partying, drinking alcohol, except Goku, who really didn't feel comfortable drinking, so he just stood and watched his friends drink at least a barrel full of alcohol and was still up on their feet. Shirahoshi had never drank in her life, so she felt dizzy after a few drinks and decided to go to her room above the dining hall to try and shake the feeling off. Robin went off to follow the king and ask him a few questions that she wanted to know while everyone else was having a grand time. Goku stopped partying for a moment and his eyes widened in shock to feeling a ki energy dropping at an alarming rate. What Goku was sensing was the return of a previous enemy who was trying to kidnap the princess. It was the wet-haired caribou, and he was trying to absorb the princess into his body so that he could later bring her back into the world and sell her for a high profit. Caribou had escaped from Luffy's cruise ship and snuck into Fishman Island trying to kidnap as many mermaids as he could but was unsuccessful. Later he snuck into the palace and overheard a conversation between Robin and King Neptune and how the princess was a secret weapon and she had an ability that could be used for evil if it fell into the wrong hands. Caribou was smiling as he was slowly absorbing the princess. Don't worry, as soon as I sell you for the highest amount I'll be out of your way. Caribou smiled devilishly and the princess tried to scream for Goku and Luffy but he gagged her mouth. Ah. We don't want to ruin the surprise, do we? Shirahoshi had started to cry and was trying her best to scream out for help. Boom, a part of the floor broke causing dust to form and a man appeared jumping out of the hole and was staring at Caribou with anger in his eyes. It was Goku, I was right. I felt a ki energy dropping and it was the princess. Goku yelled as soon as the crew came bursting through the door to see it was Caribou. Goku, Luffy, please help me, Shirahoshi thought as tears were flowing down her face. Caribou was angry that his plans weren't going accordingly because of Goku. He was going to strike at Goku when Goku widened his eyes, causing a blue glow to appear in his eyes. Immediately Caribou was sent backwards due to an invisible force he felt being pushed onto him. Goku dashed over and kicked Caribou and shot him straight out of the roof and causing Caribou to go flying. Everyone dashed over to the princess and asked if she was alright, but she had gone hysterical, knowing that if Goku hadn't sensed that she was in danger, she would have definitely been kidnapped and been sold off into slavery. Goku flew towards Shirahoshi as she covered her face into her arms and started to wail in tears. Hey, don't worry, you're safe now, that's all that matters, Goku said, trying to cheer up the princess. Shirahoshi looked up at Goku with tears in her eyes and she grabbed him and started to hug him, nearly crushing him to death with her massive bear hug. Thank you so much. I was so terrified what he would do to me, Shirahoshi said, still crying as she finally let go Goku, allowing him to gasp for air since he wasn't prepared for the bear hug. You lucky bastard. I should have kicked him, Sanji said with tears rolling down his cheeks and was grabbing Goku's gear and shaking him back and forth, jealous that Goku was hugged by the princess and not him. King Neptune came in to explain to everyone that there was an intruder inside the castle and soon realized that they all knew as well, causing his to turn red in embarrassment. Well, that intruder Goku had sent flying out of the palace might be connected to the thief robbery, King Neptune said, catching Nami's attention. Can we have the treasure if we find it? Nami said with money signs for eyes. Sure, after all you did for our kingdom it's the least I can do, King Neptune said, causing Nami to turn around and gave a look at Goku, and he could tell what she was thinking from a mile away and knew that she was pissed. Why did you have to kick him? We could have gotten all that treasure. Nami said, punching Goku on the head, inflicting her pain instead of Goku. Don't worry. I'll just teleport us to where he is and see if we can ask him where it is. Problem solved. Goku said, smiling. Nami sighed. Fine, but if you don't bring any treasure back, I'm going to have Sanji give you no food for a week, Nami threatened. This motivated Goku to start going. Goku, along with Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, rushed over to an island where they had seen Caribou had landed. When they arrived, they found him still unconscious, and to their good fortune, the stolen treasure was found almost beside him. Goku grinned and was pointing at Caribou. I guess my punch was just a little too much for him, I guess, Goku said as Luffy, Sanji, Zoro, and him were putting the treasures into a bag and were both carrying 2 bags of gold. Started to walk towards the candy factory when they noticed a catfish lion, Mr. Peckham's, angrily talking to some workers in the factory. We had an agreement. Every month you give sweets to Big Ma'am for protection. You don't want to see her mad. The catfish lion said, gritting his teeth. The workers tried to explain to him why they couldn't give him sweets because Luffy and his crew had saved them, so the king ordered that all the sweets be presented to the banquet. As they finished, the workers turned around to see Goku and the crew walking towards them. Luffy, how was the banquet? One of the workers said. It was great. Thanks for the delicious sweets. Luffy grinned. So they must be the Straw Hat Pirates. The catfish lion thought to himself. Hey kid, what was all that talk about sweets? The catfish lion shouted at Luffy, please Mr. Peckham's. The workers were trying to calm him down but were unsuccessful. Yeah, we ate so much it was awesome. Luffy grinned happily, not noticing Peckham's glaring at them angrily. Peckham's, threatening people left and right isn't going to help you collect sweets. A man said far behind Goku and the crew. They turned around to see a man drinking tea while sitting down on a boulder. Excuse his rude behavior, let's resolve this more peacefully. The tea party starts in 4 days, so if we send the candy tomorrow we shall have enough time to arrive on time, the man said, not moving from his spot. Oh, where are my manners? My name is Baron Tamago Swar, the man said, finally getting up. He was taller than anyone at there and was just watching the crew with no expression that was creeping Goku out a little. Then we'll wait tomorrow for the sweets, Baron said, but the workers had spoke up. I'm sorry, but we just can't do that. The giant cooking devices within the factory are destroyed. We tried explaining this, it will take at least 2 weeks to repair. One of the workers said. Impossible, Swar, Baron said. Sanji had enough just listening to their conversation. Hey Tamago, why can't you just wait? Sanji shouted towards Baron. Even Zoro agreed, can't he just wait? I thought he was supposed to be one of the 4 emperors, Zoro said towards Baron, who had a look of surprise to what he heard. Mama, is not a male, great pirate but a female one play, Baron said to the crew. Sanji turned red as he was wondering what the Emperor Mama looked like but covered his thoughts with a serious look. I see, so she's a madam. In that case, what'll happen if the sweets are late? This caused Baron to look at them with a deadly glare. Our agreement to protect Fishman Island will dissolve. And the beasts of Big Mom's pirate crew will destroy Fishman Island. Vu play. This caused Luffy to shout in anger, destroy a country over candy? Question mark. Are you people stupid? We just saved this country, damn it. Goku couldn't believe what he was hearing. An emperor was going to destroy an island for just some candy, and this was ridiculous. He remembered Chi-Chi threatened to ban him from going fishing forever if he hadn't brought Goten to Bulma's home for Goten's and Trunks' play date. He was training at the time and thought it was absurd to ban him forever if he didn't do it, but still did anyways because he knew once Chi-Chi was set on doing something she meant it. Bareening. A snail phone was ringing near the crew and the 2 men, they all turned to see Peckham's walking towards the snail phone. It must be Mama, I phoned her in a while ago to tell her the situation, Peckham said as he was about to pick up the phone but was stopped when Luffy passed him and picked up the phone himself, which put a horrified look on the 2 men. Hello, Luffy said, listening for a response but didn't hear one, so he responded again, hey, are you Big Mom? Luffy said, turning away from the 2 men who were trying to get the phone away from him. A voice finally spoke but slowly. This isn't Tamago or Peckham's, who might it be? The voice said, I'm Monkey D. Luffy, the man who's going to be the Pirate King. Luffy shouted, causing Goku to grin hearing his captain say this with confidence. The voice chuckled, Garp's grandson if I recall, the little boy who stirred up the war 2 years ago with another man who accompanied him. Gofu is it? It's Goku. And besides there's no more candy. I ate it all. I didn't know that they were yours. Luffy said, yelling at the phone. So there's nothing you can offer us, can you? The voice said in a dangerous tone. Goku stepped up. Wait. What if we give you all this treasure? Will that make up for it? Goku said as Luffy nodded in agreement. Yeah, so how about we give you this large amount of treasure to make up for the candy? Luffy said, speaking to the phone. Baron took the phone and was advising Big Mama to take the deal since they were short on money anyways and they could get the sweets in 2 weeks anyways. Everyone waited for Big Mama's response. Are you insane? Question mark. How dare you suggest such a stupid agreement? Who's the idiot who thought of it? Exclamation mark quote. Big Mama screamed through the other side. It was Goku. He was the one who thought of it, not us. Peckums and Baron shouted, trying not to get Big Mama mad at them. Hey, Goku, huh? Now I'm interested in that man, trying to step up to me, that brat. As you wish, but remember this now, Goku, Luffy, and to the rest of your crew, I'll change my target from Fishman Island towards you. Big Mama shouted, causing the workers to have a horrified look, thinking the crew would be in danger. Straw Hat Pirates. I know your names now. Come on out to the new world. Big Mama shouted from the other side of the snail phone line. Goku brushed past Luffy and walked up to take the snail phone. I don't care who you are and what you represent, but if you threaten my friends, you'll personally be greeted by me. Remember that. The Straw Hat Pirates accept your challenge and we're going to defeat you when we get to the new world and make Fishman Island the Straw Hats' turf. Goku said gallantly, causing Luffy, Zoro and Sanji to crack a smile at Goku's tenacity. Goku hung up and the crew gave the two men their entire bags full of treasure and started towards the castle. Goku, Sanji, Luffy and Zoro walked up to see their crew, King Neptune, Jinbei, Shirahoshi and a servant of King Neptune's greet them. Where's the treasure? Nami said, glaring at the guys who were coming back empty-handed. We gave it to Big Mama Nami-chan. Sanji said with hearts for eyes, causing everyone to look at the guys with a horrified look. You gave all the treasure to Big Mama? King Neptune and Nami said. Yeah, she was nuts. She said she would destroy this place since you didn't have candy. I mean, I could understand if it was meat since it's my favorite food, but relax, Goku was awesome. He boldly took on her challenge, even threatened back if she had tried to hurt one of us. Luffy said, grinning, causing Goku to put hand behind his head and grin a little. Ah, come on Luffy, now you're just embarrassing me, Goku said, causing everyone but Robin, Luffy, Zoro and Sanji to have a look of shock at the Saiyan. You accepted a challenge to one of the 4 emperors. Question mark quote. Everyone shouted at Goku, who just smiled brightly. Yeah. And besides, if she's stronger than my normal form, I can always transform into Super Saiyan 1, 2, or 3. If that's the case, it would be a shocker if she could take me on in my god form. Goku chuckled, causing everyone except Luffy to stare at Goku blankly to what he had just said. I'm sorry, what did you just say? You can turn into a Super Saiyan 3. Usopp said, but was interrupted by Chopper, who dashed towards Goku with stars for eyes. You're a god, Chopper said excitedly, thinking that he was having an adventure with a god. Goku just grinned. Well, I'm not a god, but I have a form that allows me the powers that is closely related to a god and combine it with my Super Saiyan form, Goku explained to see everyone still staring at him blankly. Here, just watch me, Goku said as he started to demonstrate his transformation. He started off at Super Saiyan 2 and then started to charge more energy. His hair started to grow rapidly and the electricity was surging around his body more violently. He flashed a golden explosion, causing everyone except Luffy to stare at Goku with utter amazement at his new form. This is Super Saiyan 3, a form that has reached new levels of an ascended Saiyan, Goku said, causing everyone to nod in unison. Next will be my first form in God form, Goku said as he clenched his fists together and start charging even more power. This time a red aura similar to Goku's Kaioken form engulfed him, his build slimmed down and his hairstyle returned back to normal and he had a reddish hair color instead of the golden look they all were used to seeing. This is the original form of the Super Saiyan God, an unstable one that would usually last for 30 minutes, but thanks to key control training from my teacher Vados, I was able to learn and transform my God powers into a permanent one, Goku said as he was once again charging more power and was shaking the palace violently as he was charging to the max. Ha! Goku shouted as a blue flame glow appeared instead and engulfed him. His hairstyle returned back to what a Super Saiyan hairstyle looked like and now had a blue color, as did his eyes. His build returned back to normal and was just smirking at his friends who were all looking at him astonished to what he was capable of. This is my ultimate form at Super Saiyan, the powers of a god infused into my Super Saiyan form. You can call it Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, or in shorter terms Super Saiyan Blue, Goku said, still smiling at his friends. So this is strongest you are right now. Frankie said, dashing towards examining Goku from head to toe. Well, I have a technique called Kaioken that would exponentially increase my powers, but that's my last reserve due to the fact that the technique could possibly kill me if I do it wrong, and even if I manage to pull it off, the strain the technique puts on me would kill any normal human being. The more power is being used, so far I only went up to X50, Goku said with a small smile, but then turned to everyone with a serious look. But like I said to Big Mama, I don't care who or what she represents, but if she threatens my friends, she'll be personally be greeted by me, Goku said, raising his clenched fist in view of his face. Shirahoshi smiled. Oh my. You're so strong, Goku-san. Shirahoshi said as her cheeks turned red. Usopp looked at her with a shocked face. That isn't the problem here. Usopp shouted, causing the princess to turn around and start to cry a little. You're so scary, Usopp-san. Shirahoshi said, to which Usopp quickly apologized. Luffy came in and said he wanted to join Goku and beat Big Mama if they ever see her. Nami had the angriest look Goku ever saw as she came and punched Luffy, Zoro and Sanji to the ground. She didn't try to hit Goku since she knew it would backfire on her again. I can't believe you idiots gave her all the treasure that was for us. Nami said angrily. King Neptune and his servant couldn't believe what they heard and were speaking to themselves privately. They were worried that if Big Mama opened up the treasure, she was going to get a nasty surprise that would be considered a declaration of war from the Straw Hat Pirates. They were worried about a bomb that was put into one of the chests because the guards thought they could capture a thief if they were to steal from the treasury. They soon realized that the Straw Hats were taking the treasure and notified the king to ask them to get rid of the bomb chest, but now know that Big Mama is going to get it instead. After an hour of leisure time for the Straw Hats, it was time for them to go up into the new world and go on to another adventure. All the fishmen and mermaids came to watch as their new friends were heading off. Shirahoshi looked down on Goku and Luffy and started to cry. You're really leaving, Goku, Luffy-sama. But we just became friends. Please, just one more day, 1 week, no 1 year. The princess said with tears rolling down her cheeks. Don't worry, Shirahoshi, I'm sure we'll be able to visit someday again. Goku said, smiling at the princess. Really? The princess said, trying to compose herself and try not to cry again. Sure, anytime we stop by we'll definitely head by to the palace to meet you, Goku said and grinned. Soon the crew headed off into sea when Shirahoshi came towards them, causing them to stop the ship. Wait, Shirahoshi called out as the ship was slowly stopping. Princess. Sanji yelled out with hearts for eyes, as he saw the mermaid beauty in front of him again. Oh, Princess. Nice to see you again. What happened? Goku said jokingly, since the crew just saw her like a minute ago. Goku-san, if we ever meet again, when that time comes I'll be braver to explore the world, travel farther than my mother's grave, maybe up in the surface to see a real-life forest, so please take me on another fun walk. Shirahoshi said, causing Goku to grin. Sure, I'd be happy to bring you to see the surface and the forest. Goku said, smiling, holding out his hand and closing his eyes. It's a promise. Goku grinned. Shirahoshi smiled, wiped her eyes and held out her finger to shake Goku's small hand compared to her large finger. Goku and the rest of the crew waved off the mermaids and fishmen who were waving a farewell to them as they headed off to their next adventure. Let's go, you guys. To the new world. Luffy raised his fist into the air as the ship started towards upwards the ocean to reach the surface. I'm going to go off the main story of One Piece for just a bit. As the crew reached the surface, they arrived at a small town to resupply on materials they would need. Robin came back to the boat with a newspaper that caught her interest. Hey, look what I discovered. If we take a detour from this island, we should make it to Battle Island for the 87th Dragon Tournament, Robin said, smiling as the rest of the crew except Goku gleamed at the newspaper happily. The Dragon Tournament. Has the Dragon King and Queen passed away or stepped down? Frankie said with stars in his eyes when hearing the Dragon Tournament was coming back. We have to go. It would be awesome to become Pirate and Dragon King at the same time. Luffy said happily. What's the Dragon Tournament? Goku asked as the crew turned around to him. Robin was the first to respond. Goku, the Dragon Tournament is legendary as it brings many strong fighters from around the world into one island to see who would beat all the rest in a 1 versus 1 fighting style. If you win the entire tournament, you become the Dragon King or Queen for the rest of your life until you pass away or step down from that title. It's just as symbolic as the Pirate King, probably even more. It's known around the world, Robin said, causing Goku to smile happily. Awesome. We have to go there. If there are strong people there, I have to go meet them. Goku said excitedly as he was preparing himself for the next dragon tournament. It was very similar to his world's tournament. If you win, you become that year's winner. But the dragon title was forever. Robin had a sad look. It seems the women's division has already started, so that means we can't participate, Nami, Robin said, looking at the newspaper. No, and I wanted to participate for all that gold. Nami said, crying that she lost an opportunity with fame and fortune. Still haven't changed these past 2 years, have you? Usopp said, smiling, but instantly regretted it when Nami punched him to the ground hard. I was just joking, Usopp weakly said while laying on the floor. Nami turned to Robin. So what happened to the previous Dragon King and Queen, Robin? Nami asks. Robin looked up from the newspaper. The Dragon Queen had passed away from a stroke, but the king walked into the island and asked to step down his title. He said he met a fellow on his travel and wanted to live his life in peace, so he decided to give up his position. Robin said. Wait, I think I know him. Goku said, causing every head to turn towards him. His name was Kayamori Toyoshima, isn't it? Goku asked, surprising everyone that Goku had heard of him. Wait, you actually met and trained with the Dragon King? Exclamation mark quote. Everyone shouted to Goku after he explained how he knew him. Luffy wasn't really paying attention to the name the first time Goku said it to him the first time. He just wanted to fight the person who fought against Goku, so he was just as shocked to hear this. Yeah, he was totally nice. I can't believe I thought he was weak if he managed to beat those strong people. Goku said, grinning, now had a look of determination. Alright, if I'm to get ready for this tournament, I'll have to train to the max. Goku said with fire in his eyes. While Goku and the rest of the Straw Hats were getting ready to go to Battle Island in preparations for the Dragon Tournament. A far distance away from the crew, a portal started to form and was growing at an alarming rate. When the portal stopped growing, a tall figure walked out and was smiling deviously. Ha ha ha. At last I'm free from that wretched place. The figure laughed manically. He looked down to see a village and went down to visit the place. The looks that the people gave the figure was priceless, and the man enjoyed it very much. The figure decided he had enough time roaming around the village and thought it was time to blow it up, but a poster board with a certain person had caught his attention for a moment. Incredible, no matter where I'll go, you'll always be there, won't you, Son Goku? The figure glared at the poster and tore it off the board. He turned to one of the villagers and shouted at them. You there, where is this man? The figure shouted at the villager. I don't know. The man replied, to which he was slapped down to the ground and was threatened to having him and the island blown to pieces if he didn't tell where Son Goku was. I swear I don't know. My best bet is if you find him in Battle Island. That's where the next dragon tournament is being held right now. I'm sure that's where Goku and his crew are going. The man said, terrified to what the figure would do to him and his village. The figure smiled and let go of the man. See. This all would have worked out more easily if you had told me that much sooner, the figure said as he got up from the ground. He looked at the clothing store to his right and walked in to get a clothing item that interested him the moment he entered into the village. The figure walked out with a cloak that draped around his body, covering his appearance. Perfect. Now all I have to do is go to that tournament and wait to get my chance against Goku, the cloaked man smiled. He flew off the island and headed straight for Battle Island. I'll be waiting for you, Goku, and when I destroy you with my own hands, I'll make sure to conquer this entire world for myself. The cloaked man said while laughed the entire way to Battle Island. And that's the end of What If Luffy Meets Goku Part 7. Hope you like my video. Please subscribe, like and share Roranoa TV for more fanfiction story.